Why hello everybody, Spencer here, also known as Lego Dude 11, and in today's video, this is my Bob Marley, One Love, spoiler review, so without further ado, let's discuss. Alright, so first and foremost, got Bob Marley, One Love pulled up back there, got my list of notes here up in front of me, and some interesting stuff here today. This is probably going to be a bit of a shorter review. Just kind of want to make this a short spoiler, nice and sweet one for you today. And if you missed it, I made a vlog of me, my friend, and his girlfriend, all going to see Bob Marley, One Love, on Valentine's Day last week. Came out on Valentine's Day, same day as Madame Web, or Madame Web, as people in the movie space are calling it. I can't believe that came out on the same day. Look, I'm glad we made the ultimate executive decision to go see that, because I was like, yeah, superhero movie, what can go wrong? And Madame Web had the same Morbius writers and everything. I'm like, yeah, let's go see Bob Marley instead. So I actually had a good time with them watching this one. And have to do a brief side note before I get to my list of notes here. I did actually watch the first part of him. Like, there's a shootout in the backstory in his life. There's a shootout that happens in like the first 6 minutes of the movie. Then in like the next 15 minutes, I kept bobbing my head. And in the vlog, you hear a little bit of interaction there. I put in some sound effects like, because my friends, I fell asleep for 15 minutes and by accident kept bobbing, and I'm like, okay, now I know what's going on for the rest of the movie. So Bob Marley, One Love, music in this, I love the Bob Marley music, the reggae, I almost said glossy music. The reggae type feel is great. I love the sound of his music. All the songs in this movie really work. Funny enough, at the credits of this movie, there's two things I have at the ending of this review. I'm going to talk about something that really surprised me. But the other thing that surprised me about the music was Chris Bowers did the music. And I was interested to know why and how he's a part of this, because Chris Bowers did the soundtrack for Secret Invasion, which is something I really quite hate. I hate it. Hate's a strong word, but Secret Invasion, by the ending, I hated that. But the actor who plays Bob Marley in this is Kingsley Ben-Adir, who was also in Secret Invasion. So I'm wondering if there was some connection there, like, hey, I know you, come do the music for Bob Marley. I don't know. But interesting turn of events there. I couldn't notice Chris Bowers' motifs or anything of the sort, because all I could hear was Bob Marley sounding music. So it wasn't like at the end of the movie, like, oh, I could tell it was Chris Bowers. I was just like, oh, look, there's Chris Bowers. So I don't know, funny little tie-in there. So that's my I like the music, my music category. Next up is the backstory and the life side of things. I knew going in, or after the movie, I forgot he was Jamaican, but it makes a lot of sense, because I watched the movie Cool Runnings, done by, or I don't remember who was directed by, but about the Jamaican bobsled team that stars John Candy, who's also in Home Alone, but who helps them out and become the famous Jamaican bobsled team at the Olympics. So yeah, I genuinely, I think that Jamaican culture is very neat, very, very interesting to learn about their culture, and Bob Marley specifically in this movie, is very, even more impactful to the music industry. Is like powerful stuff. So his backstory, like I said, there's a shootout that happens in his house. I believe his friends are also there, based off of what I watched in the beginning. But his friends are there, and he rushes to the hospital, and dealing with all this trauma, I should say trauma, dealing with all this going on in his life, and then, what's going on in the country, he's trying to make an impact in the music industry. And I found this really quite moving. More moving, like, I have to mention something, because this is really something that I felt this film needed to discuss. Like, the review back there says, like, the critic score is like 42, and then the audience is like 94. I heavily lean towards the 94. I'll get my review at the end, but I think that after watching the movie Elvis last year, was that last year or 2 years ago? But I can't remember. the Elvis movie that came out, it was like almost 3 hours long. And after watching that, I go, there was no point in this Elvis movie being 3 hours. I have not seen Rocket Man, but Bohemian Rhapsody, I'm a big fan of Queen. But this movie, Bob Marley specifically, is genuinely one when I went to see it in theaters, I was like, man, I have not seen a musical movie in the theater. Like, I think I may have seen Bohemian Rhapsody in theater, but I didn't watch Elvis in theater. But this was like way more impactful than Elvis to me, because it really dealt with like a deeper cultural impact, a deeper love. Like the two actors, even Lashana Lynch, who plays his wife Rita, is in Marvel. She's Captain Marvel, or she's the alternate Captain Marvel in Doctor Strange, and she's the mom of Monica Rambeau. And I love them both dearly. The actors playing them, and I think they're great in these roles. The side cast is great, like the friends and whatnot. Even the backlot, I think my favorite part of the movie. I forgot. Coming out, I didn't know what my favorite part was. But my favorite part wasn't even with those actors. It wasn't even in the main story. It was really in the flashback where they are. I think it's like the parents or like the ancestors or something, where they're in this, not bar. I keep thinking bar, in this recording studio, and they are wanting to share their style of music, but the guy's like, this isn't just really working for me. So they stop doing whatever they're doing and change it up to just like upbeat, regular. I don't know if I would really call it pop music, but just more upbeat than what they were already doing. It's kind of like they were kind of doing something slow, so then they make it upbeat tempo, and the guy in the main, like the manager guy, just like starts walking off, but then the other guy in the recording studio, like where like he has the headphones on, it's just like out here like doing the dancing, and I'm like I was just laughing. I think that was my favorite part of the movie, and then the manager comes in and is like, this is what we're looking for. So kind of like reminded me of the Back to the Future, like, hey, this is the new sound we're looking for from Back to the Future. But I like that scene, and I just thought that tie-in, that flashback scene, really, again, I have editing in the flashbacks. The flashbacks in this scene, or movie, were great. The editing, the back and forth, because, I have to do a side, I have not seen Madam Web, but people were going, the future, the flashbacks, the editing in Madam Web was terrible, and I'm just like, yeah, maybe if you went to go see Bob Marley instead, you'd be very impressed, because I really liked the flashbacks, the way they did it, because it felt like they knew what they were doing. And even, this is a great biopic. What was the one I watched of, I don't remember. There was some biopic. Oh, it might have been Stanley. That was a good one. But no, I thought there was some other musical person. But like Elvis just didn't really resonate to me. I don't know, I'm going to have to do some research on other musical people, because like Bohemian Rhapsody was fine. I just really like this one, and the songs that they inserted, like the way that Bob Marley like was creating his music, the way he like would think of music and then write it, kind of like the Beatles. There was also the Beatles one that was quite good. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Beatles, but this one is just like I think in comparison to the Beatles stuff, because they've done a lot of like Beatles documentaries on Disney Plus, but this one, man, this one was good. I just keep saying it was good. I liked it. But the editing of the flashbacks, there's some good cinematography with like, the fire shot, like in the backstory when there's this horse coming into the culture. I believe it was like his original hometown, where he's crawling, where he's running from a horse in the cornfield, and man, the fire shot is dramatic. It reminded me a lot of I got a missed call. I'm confused. But anyway, I'll check that later. I got I was talking about flashback. I already forget. Anyway, the backstory. There's a few moments in the movie like where his wife are talking. If you're watching this, I'm sorry. I do apologize with my brain fart. But him and his wife are talking, and in this bar, there is a bar scene. So. In this bar, and she gets mad at him for like cheating of some sort, and I think because he was talking to another woman, or he was mad at her for talking to another man, and it was a scene at the end of the movie, like, I was able to understand what was going on, but my friend's girlfriend was like, I had a hard time understanding, like, there should have been subtitles. Like, yeah, I agree. At the first scene in the movie, I was like, is this going to be difficult to understand? But I understood the entire thing, but it was kind of hard for me. I felt like for some older people, it might have been hard to understand because there was no subtitles. And I know that people complain, people, like, they aren't going to do that in a movie theater, but I wish they did for this movie or other scenes. Like, it's hard. But anyway, I was able to understand that. There was some bickering going on between Bob Marley and his wife, but then they got through it in the end. Like, he wants to do this tour. By the way, Bob Marley gets cancer in his foot. There's like a toe cancer, like a skin cancer in his toe. It is like one of the most, because he does this. He gets really rageful at his one friend for like treating him like badly, and then he realizes the guy, his friend, his white friend, his British friend who works with him in the music industry. He's like, you got to go to the doctor. Like, you got to get that checked out. So he goes. Or he doesn't get it checked out. He's like, well, I think he does. He's like, yeah, it's cancer. He gets it checked out. He's like, it's cancer, a rare skin cancer. And he's like, man, like I'm just like, man, I feel bad with the guy. And then he's like, I want to finish my tour. So he finishes his tour. By the way, all the tours are great. Like, all the sequences of the tours. Like, I'm talking about editing. This movie does a really good job with editing. I love that. And like, there's some great cinematography shots, like with the sky and different like moments of shots. I wouldn't say as good as Scott Pilgrim editing, but this is some good shot. I quite liked it. But then he finishes his tour. Then he dies at 36. Like, this in the credits, it says he dies at 36. And I'm just like, man, from this cancer. Like, he just finishes his tour strong. I love all the tours. I don't know what else to say about it. It's hard to talk about this film without talking about, like, the music, how good the music is, cinematography. I just love the cultural aspects, how they bring in this Jamaican culture, because I'm a fan of, I've been to Africa. I've not been to Jamaica. I've been to Africa. And I just think different cultures are really neat to learn about. And this film in particular really doesn't, again, I'm not trashing on the Elvis movie. I'm just saying that this movie does a great job at impacting our culture, showing the impact of the Jamaican culture in the music industry. If it was again, I think the Bobsled Team, the Cool Runnings movie is really great as well. I haven't watched that on repeat, but I think this one just shows a great job, shows really well done way of impacting the music industry with another culture, and specifically Jamaican culture, is really quite neat. So anyway, the ending of it, again, I'm just really, it's really sad he died at 36, and then it showed archived footage of Bob Marley from when he was playing originally, or not playing, but when he was talking about at his final concert. And shockingly, I loved watching all that. And the Three Little Birds song, by the way, in the movie is great. I love that. So it's probably my favorite song, but all the music's great. What shocked me the most was the fact that Brad Pitt was an executive producer on this film. I was like, Brad Pitt? The credits go, and I'm like, oh, look, music by Chris Bowers. Oh, executive producer Brad Pitt. Weird. I've not done the full research of why he decided to work on this movie. I had no idea. I've seen trailers for months for this movie, right? And I saw the first trailer, I was like, Bob Marley movie? Okay, I can probably skip that. But then as I saw more trailers, I started to get invested. I'm like, okay, I'll go see this. Like, me and my friends were like, want to go see this on Valentine's Day? I'm like, sure. And then in the credits, I'm like, Brad Pitt? How have I not heard about this? So, anyway, that's all I have to say. I'm going to do some more research on why Brad Pitt's now involved in this movie after I'm done with making this. I probably should have done that beforehand, but I didn't think about it. I just had to make this review. So, anyway, my rating on this is probably a 7 out of 10. As I'm standing right now, because I don't know, if I watch it more after it's released on digital, and I start maybe liking it more. But I mean, I don't take 7 out of 10. I gave Elemental and Indiana Jones a 7 out of 10 last year, but don't take that as I hate the film. Just take that with I liked it. It's not my favorite. I liked Argyle more than this one, but that doesn't mean I hate Bob Marley. So Bob Marley, One Love, give it a 7 out of 10. Bob Marley, One Love. That's my little sign, peace sign. I don't know. It's my gesture for one love to you. Happy Valentine's Day. What did you guys do on Valentine's Day? Let me know in the comment section below. I had no one. I was lonely. I'm the man without love. I could sing that song all day, but anyway, that's what I did on Valentine's Day, and I liked the movie. Next up is Dune 2. Nope, scratch that. Next time I will be here for Avatar, The Last Airbender series on Netflix, and then after that is Dune Part 2. Man, 2 really good things coming. So don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me. Keep calm, play Lego. Peace out, everyone. Bye. Make sure I said that right.